Hello, my lovely friends, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about what not to do. Oh, well, yes, we are going to talk about what not to do when coffee dyeing certain things because it just doesn't work out. So, I have to say, this video was a total bummer, and, you know, I'm probably being a tiny bit over dramatic, if you will. So yeah, I'll just start from the very beginning very quickly. In this video, I tried to do a whole bunch of coffee dyeing by spraying things and layering them on top. And, as you can see at the very beginning of the video, I had great high hopes. I was very excited. And it did not in any way really turn out the way that I had envisioned. Not to say that it was a total loss or a total bummer, because it wasn't really. I mean, I still have some things that are coffee dyed that I can use, but what I had envisioned in my mind by using stencils and plastic spiders and plastic bats and all these things did not really turn out at all. It did not get me the results that I was after. So, on one hand, on column A side, learned some things. Definitely will not make these mistakes again. From the column B side, I have to admit there was a certain, I was like, I've talked about this before in other videos. The perfectionist in me just about flatlined. My knickers were in a twist. Oh my God. I was so upset. And, to be completely upfront and transparent, I actually, at the beginning, I thought, I can't show this video. I'm just going to have to come up with a reason why part 3 isn't materializing, and that, I had an aunt 4 times removed pass away. I couldn't make the video. But after some days and some reflection and, taking my my drama queen jumper off, as so to speak, I we make mistakes. Mistakes happen, of course. I think that as somebody who, when you make mistakes publicly, right, that's not so much fun. And I have to be a little bit honest and be like, whoa, people come to YouTube to learn things and to watch these amazing women do these amazing things with ephemera and journals and paper crafting and all this experimentation. And, 99.9% of the time, the videos that you were watching, you're like, oh, yes. You're like, oh, bravo, well done. But the fact is, we really don't know how many times they maybe did these things in order to get to the point where they could show us in their video just how easy they make it look or how lovely they make it look and all that kind of thing, right? So I had to have a little chat with myself and really question why, excuse me, is there a hair here? Because I think, every once in a while when I'm editing, there's a hair like sticking out and I'm like, oh, that's distracting. We're human and we all make mistakes. And I think the problem is that when you come to a platform like YouTube and Instagram can be the same way. This is why we have a mental health issue with our young people. And wow, I just sounded like my dad. The young people today. But it's true. Social media makes us feel things about ourselves and makes us question ourselves and our abilities and our value and our worth in a way that isn't healthy, that isn't good for us. So in the interest of trying not to overthink, I decided to go ahead and put the video up. It was embarrassing because I screwed up. The video itself is great, although I have to say I edited the bejesus out of it. I took it from an hour and 15 minutes down to 23. So there's a lot of fast forwards, but I thought it would be good for you to watch it see me go through the process if you're so inclined. Maybe you don't want to watch it, but we go through the process of me explaining why I'm choosing the things that I'm choosing, and then I've got my bins and my envelopes and my papers, and I'm spraying and I'm spraying and I'm spraying and I'm having a great time, and everything's going along honky-dory until we get to the part where I do the big reveal, and then it's not pretty. Anyhow, I got some things that I can use, just not necessarily in the way that I want to use them. So, I mean, we've got coffee dyed envelopes, just not coffee dyed envelopes. I totally forgot to open up the backs too. What a rookie mistake. I've got, but they don't have the fun stencil print on them. Or I used lace. We laid lace on top of things. I had big hopes about what the lace would do. So at one point I decided, these sorts of things would be great belly bands. I'm going to stamp over them. Actually, I'm going to bring these things, once they're super dried. These are still a little bit damp, I have to say. And I did all this on Saturday. Anyways, once these are dried, we're going to go back and do some fun things with stamping and some other stencils, and maybe even some gesso. Yeah. So anyways, the whole idea really behind putting up this video is that we make mistakes. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal in the sense that it shouldn't be as big of a deal as we have it in our minds, if that makes sense to you. Right? Like I was really embarrassed. I was like, oh, I can't put this on YouTube. Like, that would just be, who's going to watch it? Who's going to be interested? And why would they? And would I want to watch it? And I was like, I don't know. Like, but then again, after I thought about it for a couple days, I thought, no, this is part of the process. People can watch it. This is going to be what not to do when coffee dyeing, which is I layered way too much on top of stuff. That was my big mistake. And I pressed down. I pressed thinking that I was pressing impressions into things, which was not good at all. And in this instant, even though in the last 2 coffee dye videos, I go on and on and on about how great it is to layer things, and you get that impression from the paper underneath and then the paper on top, and you get this cool effect. When I was trying to do these things, it totally backfired on me. So next time I do this, I would get a cookie sheet out. I would put, 3 envelopes across, and then I would spray them with the stencils or whatever, right? I did do some guest checks singly with the stencils. I think I took a little video of it. I'll put it up here. I'm pretty sure I did. And these turned out, not this, I was going to call it a harem. It's not a harem, it's a harlequin. I think the heat's getting to my brain, friends. But, there's a process. It's a process of learning what stencils work, which ones won't. I did get some great coffee dyed guest checks that we're going to have some fun with this month. I tried the spider again, and this kind of worked. But layering, sometimes that's a hard word to say. Putting them out flat and not putting paper on top of paper on top of paper. At least for me, that was a disaster. If you have some ideas, suggestions, helpful hints, by all means, please put them in the comments. If you can tell me exactly what I did wrong, other than the things that I've already said, I would be forever eternally grateful for your insight on this. The other thing is I'm always telling you, don't worry about making mistakes, and don't be embarrassed about your mistakes. Then I thought, if I don't come on and make this video, it's going to be really hypocritical of me to hide behind the fact that I couldn't live up to my own perfectionist ideas, right? Like we have these ideas in our mind, and especially, like I said, when you've gotten good at something and you've been really good at that thing for a very long time, it is extremely difficult to do something new and not be good at it, because you sort of take all of those things and all of the attributes that you attribute, to your skill level set. You take those things and apply them to the new thing that you're doing or that you're learning, and it doesn't translate. And that's where we get ourselves into a lot of trouble, right? Because you're like, well, I'm really good at this, so how come I'm not good at this, or how come I failed at this? And this is where I'd set myself up for failure as well. And I did not speak kindly to myself at all that day. For a couple days, I was really like, oh, you screwed it up, and you don't know what you're doing, and you're not as good as the other ladies on YouTube. And, you know, I said some pretty crappy stuff to myself, which that's a conversation for another day. But we have to remind ourselves that, you know, just because we're good at one thing doesn't mean we're good at everything. And I know that's really basic, but boy, sometimes we really have to like just... And, you know, the big thing is like, it's okay. It's okay not to be really good, A, at the good thing that everybody else is good at, and B, it's okay not to be good at the thing that you think you should be good at. It takes time. It takes time, and we need to be more patient with ourselves. We need to give ourselves a wide berth of space and time to play and make mistakes and to experiment, and to not put the expectations of one skill set onto the outcome of another skill set. And that's exactly what I did to myself with this process. I was like, you're really good at these other things. Why can't you be good at this? And it wasn't just, you know, it was the whole process I was embarrassed about. I was like, oh, I can't believe that you didn't think of this ahead of time. And I can't believe that you didn't realize that that stencil wouldn't work. And I can't believe that you didn't think that, you didn't realize that smushing the papers, like you should have known this, and you should have done this, and you should have seen. And then one night I was just like, yeah, but I didn't know. I didn't know. And there's a really icky, awkward, very uncomfortable, shameful feeling that comes with not knowing something when you think you should know it, because the implication is that either that you're stupid, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, how could you be so stupid? How did you not know that? Which is, you know, the inner critic talking. It's members of my family talking to me. The moment I hear myself say, how could you be so stupid? I need to stop myself immediately and remind myself that that's not actually me speaking. Okay? That's a whole lot of other people in my life speaking to me. That's not Lisa speaking. And so that was when I sort of, you know, had a few glasses of wine and a really nice bubble bath, and reminded myself that the messages that are coming through to me aren't messages from me, they're messages from other people. And those people who told me those messages, they have their own issues, their own hang-ups, their own insecurities, and their own problems with validation and self-worth and all of those things. So I don't want to get into a whole psychology thing here, but I think it's important for me to put this out there for whoever needs to hear it and whoever can be soothed and comforted by it. It's fine and dandy sometimes to make mistakes by yourself when you're just by yourself, but even then, if you suffer from perfectionism, even making mistakes by yourself, you're just like, ooh, like you can feel it in your back. You know, you're like, oh, like your whole, again, just between you and me, your posture changes. You can feel yourself clenching. You can feel your tummy tightening. It's terrible. It's terrible what we do to ourselves. And you know, my word for 2023 is gentle. And I have to really dig that out every once in a while and put it up there and remind myself to be more gentle in the way I speak to myself, in the way that I hold tension and anxiety in my body. So, you know, and then you sort of add to it the fact that it's really not a big deal. Not getting the coffee dye to look the way you want isn't a huge deal. And it's not this, I'm not going to be wearing a dunce cap and a scarlet A on my chest on YouTube. I know that intellectually, but emotionally, mentally, it affected me in ways that I just don't want these things to affect me. So, boy, I rambled on there for a bit, didn't I? It's just important, I think, to, like I said, it's just me. This is me. This is part of why I want to do this channel and the kind of things that I want to talk to you guys about and share. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave it there because it's 16 minutes. That's one hell of an introduction. But I'm sure that all the ladies on YouTube that have come before me that have these amazing channels with hundreds of thousands of followers, you know, I know intellectually that they've made many mistakes. But the thing is that we don't often see those mistakes, and I totally understand why. Because it doesn't always make for good viewing, and it, you know, you don't need to give people a reason to give you a hard time. There's enough people out there to give you a hard time. You don't need to bring it in, right? So anyways, if you would be so kind, I would love it if you would watch the rest of the video, but by all means, please, you know, you don't have to. That worked. That leopard print kind of worked. These actually will be fun for other projects. We've got some papers that came out pretty good. We got some papers that did not come out very good. It's a real mishmash of things. I will say this as I sort of end out this part of the video. If you are also somebody who doesn't want to do the whole thing with a bin or a casserole tray like I did, and you put all the coffee in it, and you know, it's a lot, right? Getting a spray bottle and filling it full of coffee and putting your pages out individually and then just spraying them will definitely give you some really great coffee dyed results if you just spray them. Like I dug this out of the recycle bin today. It's from Amazon, and I'm going to take this out into the backyard later today, and I'm just going to spray it and then let it, I'm just going to leave it, and then the next time I want some fun coffee dye something, it's there. So it, you know, the whole coffee dye process doesn't have to be about a ton of pages like we did in the other two videos. It really can be just spraying a few things, and then you let them dry overnight, and then you have them the next day to craft with. So the spray bottle and the coffee dyeing can be just as good a friend to you as a casserole dish. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there finally. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the next part of the video, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, my lovely friends, let's do this. I am super excited because today's coffee dye video is probably going to be the most experimental out of the three. So here's what I've got planned, or what I've got, well, planned and out. So we're going to do some music paper here. And these are all, this is vintage. So this is nice, thick paper. I've got some dictionary pages here that we're going to do. So I thought, while we're at it, let's experiment with a couple other things. These are glossy pages. This is very thick paper, but it's high gloss. So I thought it would be fun to see what happens when we coffee dye that. I have, this is vintage, and it's mostly matte, but it has a little bit of a finish on it. And these are pages that I'm not necessarily super crazy about, although boy, I do love to go camping. And I'm like, ooh. But anyways, let's put these in. just to see what we get out. Then I also have these pockets that I had made the one day while I was talking about the bad mood. You know how to journal when you're in a bad mood? So I thought it might be kind of fun to put a couple of these in the coffee dye and see what happens. We're going to play around with some of the other plain coffee dyed paper that we did from the first two videos. So I thought it would be fun to experiment with this paper that we did at the beginning of the week, or at least some of it, maybe not all of it. Some envelopes, because there always seems to be envelopes at the Goodwill, you know, packages of envelopes. I'm gonna dig out as well some old, the smaller like Hallmark card, the thank you card, the tiny little envelopes. I have a bunch of those that I picked up probably for like 50 cents at a garage sale or something a long time ago. So I thought it would be fun to play with those because, again, chances are really good that you have some of these things in your stash. And it's not expensive and very simple things to experiment with. And if things go sideways, then you're not out a lot of money or you haven't used your quote-unquote good supplies, right? But I have a ton of these guest checks. So I thought it would be fun to coffee dye and do some experimenting with these, with spritzing and stuff. Now you might ask yourself, Lisa, what are we experimenting with? Okay, I did find my Halloween stencils. The Halloween gods were kind enough to point me finally in the right direction. So we're gonna play with some of these. There's a whole bunch of them. Now, some of these I think will be better than others because of coverage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray over the stencil and then I'm just going to leave it, right? So we'll see what kind of pattern we get. Let's just experiment. So we've got those. And I got these bats, these plastic bats. So I ordered these on Amazon. So we've got all kinds of shapes. Well, not all, I guess they're all the same bat, but we have lots of sizes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these bats in sort of random formation, I suppose, on the paper. Then I'm gonna spritz them, and then I'm gonna put something over top. Actually, what I'm gonna put over top is the glossy photo paper that I'm not going to use for anything else. So as we know from the other video, that one side picks up the color really well and the other side picks up nothing. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to put this glossy paper on top like that. Then I'm going to put another one like this, and then we'll pile some up and just see what happens. So, you know, when I'm watching the ladies, all the other ladies on YouTube here, doing coffee dyed with plastic doilies and plastic tablecloths and those sorts of things, and then I thought, aha, well, why couldn't I essentially do the same with other plastic cutouts? So if we're happy with this, it will be interesting to keep our eyes peeled while we are out thrifting and shopping to see what other things like this we could be using, hypothetically, with coffee dyeing. Let's just see what we get. So yeah, wow, look at that. I got a big giant one. Ooh. I pulled out some of these doilies that I had, that I talked about, I think, I don't know which video it was. Now these are cotton, they're not plastic, so I'm not worried that these are going to get wet and coffee dyed at all. But we'll put the doilies down and then we're going to spritz on there. So I dug out some smaller ones, some bigger ones. A lot of these already have stains on them anyways. So I'm going to do the same sort of thing. We'll put this in the casserole dish. I'll spritz on the paper and then we'll experiment. I'll put another piece of paper on, then we'll put another piece of paper down, then we'll do this. So that's the plan. So I've got the doilies, we've got stencils, we've got the bats and the spiders. Alrighty, so what we're gonna do first is I've got these odd papers that I just want to coffee dye plain. So I found this sandwich paper. Ooh, listen to that. Woo! And I thought what I'm gonna do is we're gonna coffee dye this just to see what happens. Then we've got the other pages that we talked about, right? And then I found this music paper that I bought at Value Village. So we'll try some of that, see how much color we get left. Now, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna pour some of this coffee from before in here. This is from the last 2 batches. And I have a little bit left in this can here. So let's put a little bit in there. Because we don't have that much, I'm not putting that much, well, I say that now. I don't think I'm going to be putting that much paper in here. I think I'll stagger these. And then if these work, then these will be great for my Halloween journals. So let's put that there. Just gonna sort of push that down, smush it in there a little bit. I mean, I don't know. This might all bleed underneath. We might open this up tomorrow and be like, oh no. It's a disaster. Okay, so I have this really dirty bin that I like to use for dirty projects. I'm going to be using manila file folders as well to put through, or to put in between as an experiment, as well as the high gloss paper. Again, let's just sort of see what effects that we get. Okie dokie Smokey, I am here with the results of our coffee dyeing, and I have to say right up front, it's a disaster. I haven't really looked, but I have peeked, and it's not great. It's not. I'm not gonna lie. This is not good at all. So I squished too much. I squished too much. But anyways, we have to learn from our mistakes and move forward. So I will try this again at some point. But I wanted to make sure that I went through this with you so that you could see the absolute disaster that this is. And but not to fear. I mean, I'll be able to use these things for other things. They're just not going to turn out the way that we had hoped. I have to admit, these pages were a bit of a surprise because none of them really pulled up much color. They didn't really change whether they were the glossy pages, the music pages that I got at Value Village, or the vintage book pages. None of them really pulled in that much color. They make a great sound and they'll be great for journaling, but I have to say, not much really changed, so that was a really big surprise to me. Now, this sandwich French fry paper, this is kind of interesting. Depending on what kind of journal or what you were doing, I would do this again. It already makes a great noise, but somehow with the coffee dye, it makes even better noises. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. So, we did, oh, that's not so bad. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's good. So I think I don't know, we'll see the stuff at the top maybe will have turned out better than the stuff at the bottom. So here we've got a spider, okay. See, the lace, the coffee dyeing of this, guest check, looks great. Yeah, that didn't, so that kind of came out interesting there on the back, but it didn't do anything. Well, I quite like how these are going to be great in junk journals, in the Halloween junk journals. See, that one didn't hurt. That's interesting. That didn't. You would think that it would just soak in everywhere at one point after a while, but it doesn't. So these have been sitting inside and outside just as we finished them. I didn't take them apart. I brought them in from outside during the night in case it rained. And then same with this bucket. So some of this stuff is still a little bit damp because it's been in the basement more than it's been outside. Okay, so then this is the music paper that we sprayed. So this looks fun. So if you don't want to soak it, then, you know, like spraying it is another really great option as well. I'm happy with these. These are great. I will do other things with these. Yeah, this is still a teeny tiny bit damp. Okay, so let's see. Dum dum dum. Do we have bats? A little bit. So that's kind of fun like that. Okay, so let's see here. Not really. Yeah, I squished it. I just expected too much. Yeah, I squished too much. And I may have also used too much coffee. Yeah, you can't tell that those are bats. I mean, you might because, but no. No. They can't all be winners. Okay, so that one's good. Again, nothing on the back there. I'm not disappointed at all. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Wow, that's still quite wet. But of course, I guess it's glossy. So let's see, this is still wet. That's interesting. Again, not what I had envisioned. But I am enjoying the reveal part of this. Wait a minute. What do we got here? Okay. Yeah, this is way too wet. Way too wet. So putting the photo paper was not my best idea ever, as far as what I thought I wanted. That's still really wet, so that will have to go outside when it stops raining. Interesting that this lace is not quite as discolored either as I thought it would be. but that's probably because it's 100% polyester. And as anybody who knows, or everybody who knows, who's worn polyester on a very hot day, polyester does not absorb. Okay, so that's that. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, this was ill-advised on my part to use this photo paper. But in my, like all good ideas, it was a super fantastic idea in my mind. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh well, we got some really nice coffee-dyed, whatchamacallit, dictionary pages out of the deal, so that's alright. This will all come in handy later. Okay, so now this was envelopes. So let's see here. Yeah. Let's just move along. Move it along, sailor. Nothing to see here. You know what? These will still be good. I'll get out some, once these are really dry, I will get out some of my sprays, my Tim Holtz inks. Well, that's kind of fun. And we'll do some stuff with them. We'll stamp them. It'll be great. Best laid plans and all that kind of thing, right? Oh well. I had a lot of fun doing it, and that's most of it. Oh, that's kind of fun. Oh. These are still damp. Not wet, but damp. Okay, that. Nope. Nope. That's kind of interesting. You know what? These are gonna look great. These are gonna look great. Oh, no, that one's not. This is gonna become a belly band. This is gonna be a belly band. This will be fun with some stamping. Okay. Just when you think you know what you're doing. Story of my life. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, these will be fun belly bands. Okay. What do we got here? I don't even know what did... Oh, yeah, okay. That's some of that, the 3-ring binder paper. These are wet. This is quite wet. Okay. All right, the last bit. This was with the doilies. Again, paper. Some envelopes here that will maybe be pockets. I like how they're crinkling. That's fun. That's kind of fun. Nope. Okay, we'll do this again, but in a very different manner. You will be seeing these in future videos, and you'll be like, oh, it was the great coffee dye fiasco of June 2023. And everything. Nope. Okay, I expected yeah. In fact, I did the opposite probably of what I was supposed to do. Actually, I think we had it like this. Anyhow, I had fun getting my hands dirty. I still have coffee dye in my nails, but whatever. Woolco. Good memories. Woolco was $1.44 days. That's right. And Kmart was Blue Light Special. Okay, well, friends, chalk this up to experience. I'm not convinced that these bats aren't going to work. I just not how I have done it here. All right, well, I'm going to, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to leave these for a couple of weeks, and then we'll come back and do something fun with them. But in the meantime, friends, have fun doing your own coffee dyeing and exploring with different techniques. And please learn from my mistakes. Although I am going to try. I'm going to try the same technique. Oh, that's not bad. At some point, I'm just going to do less. I'm just maybe going to do 3 or 4 sheets where I'm spraying. I think I just got overzealous. So yeah, so have a great week, everybody. Today is Sunday, but who knows when you're gonna be watching this. As always, I really appreciate your kind words and comments, and your support, as always, means the world to me. I couldn't do this without you. I couldn't have a channel without you supporting me and being there for me. And I've had a great time meeting all of you and getting to know you. I love your comments. They're the highlight of my day when I get a comment. Oh, the first one. We were so hopeful. We were so hopeful. Take care, everybody. Speak kindly to yourselves. And don't worry if you make mistakes, clearly. And enjoy working in your journals until the next video. And yeah, the girls say hello. They're both sleeping upstairs. So yeah, they will not be making appearances today. But anyways, thanks again. Take care, everybody. Happy journaling, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah.